Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today, while I'm doing the morning errands, walking the dog, we're going to talk about Captain America: Brave New World. Now, I was a little bit on the fence with this flick because in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, Falcon was like the weakest part of it, at least for me. I feel like the birth of Falcon Cap was not the best, and I really feel that Bucky Barnes should have become the new Cap. Don't get me wrong, Falcon, I love him as a character, but I feel like Bucky's story is a little bit more compelling. Like, I was really hoping this movie would prove me wrong, but the thing is that the actor Anthony Mackie, I feel like he has a real hard time being a lead in any type of project, especially with this version of the character that writers have like this weird fixation of giving him like these very moralistic monologues. I guess they're trying to make him inspiring, but he always comes off as sort of preachy. And the thing is that Falcon Cap had great chemistry with Bucky Barnes in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. Here we have another good combination with Joaquin Torres, who would be like the new Falcon, and everyone bitched about this character. I actually really liked him. When both characters are on the screen, they do a fantastic job. Also in this movie, we get a new Black Widow-esque type of character, who I guess would be Sabra in the comics. And I'm coming from a background in combat sports, and so I see someone of that size, and she's clobbering these really big dudes, and I just can't suspend my disbelief over that, like if she doesn't have any powers. It seems to be a nitpicky thing, but the combat in general in this movie feels overly choreographed. You see the extras overselling many of the blows and stuff like that, and some of the actors, especially Falcon, moves very slowly in general in combat. And it is extremely apparent when they put in a double and all of a sudden Falcon or Joaquin move like top tier martial artists. That's another thing with this movie. Like, you get to see Falcon Cap. He's Captain America in this movie. And the thing is that he doesn't have the super soldier serum, and this is really taking a toll on him. And it's like a big part of the beginning of the movie, and then the movie sort of forgets about this. Like, he's had an upgrade in his weapons, like his wings have vibranium. He's got Captain America's shield, I understand. But in the middle to the back end of the movie, Captain America takes so much punishment that I thought to myself, like, 5 times over, this guy should be totally dead. Especially with the emphasis that they put in the beginning of the movie that he was pretty wrecked after the first fight that he had in the movie. Now, the upgrades in general are pretty cool, especially to his wings. So we have like a fusion between Captain America and Black Panther at moments. And they also do cool stuff with the wings, like he has more offensive options. Now to the villain, Sidewinder feels like a total afterthought. He feels totally shoehorned in, and he also feels that he's a big part of the reshoots. And Sidewinder reminded me that there's a couple fights that happen in the streets where all of a sudden there's no one around. Like, they didn't have any budget for extras. They have this whole scenario perfectly set up, and it's just a ghost town all of a sudden. It's pretty hilarious. Now, let's get into the main villain. That, just in case, spoiler warnings, the movie is worth watching because I'm going to ruin something here. It's the Leader, and this movie very oddly feels like a sequel to that first Hulk movie. It's such a strange decision. I don't know why. Well, sort of, because Falcon as a character, to my knowledge, doesn't have like a arch enemy like Captain America does, who has like a gigantic rogues gallery. But you have Isaiah Bradley pop up in the beginning of the movie. You could have just focused on him and his backstory and maybe thrown in Dr. Faustus, who is a OG Captain America villain. But instead they went with the Leader, and everything with the Leader feels really, really contrived. Everything around this character feels insanely convoluted. Even though I do love his overall plan to screw over Thunderbolt Ross, that final burn that we get, that's actually pretty cool. Then we have Thunderbolt Ross, that, spoiler warnings, he's going to become the Red Hulk. And in general, like, I felt like with the publicity of this movie, they should not have shown that the Red Hulk shows up in this. That would have been a really cool surprise. Again, a Hulk villain. And it's a shame that we don't get the Red Hulk from the comic books, who is a really interesting and kick-ass character. Here we just get literally a Red Hulk. He's exactly the same as the green one. Now, Thunderbolt Ross in this movie, he is interesting, but every time they go into his whole situation with his daughter, It just really makes things, at least for me, unbelievable. They're going to lean into this way too hard and then forcibly try to establish a connection with Captain America that Thunderbolts need to have validation and connection with his daughter is very similar to Captain America accepting the mantle of Captain America and people accepting him. And we get a couple of really cheesy dialogues from Captain America over this, especially in the final battle with Red Hulk, that I thought to myself, no, just don't do that. But physically, Falcon Cap doesn't stand a chance against the Hulk. It's cool how he tries to do his best and hold his own, like there's some creative moments there. So let's finish things off talking about Isaiah Bradley. He feels like a really wasted opportunity. He has a fascinating backstory. The actor that portrays Isaiah also does a fantastic job. It would have been super cool to see him in costume. Bucky's role as a congressman really didn't work for me. He should have been more in this movie. And the contrast between this flick and the Thunderbolts really shows off how superior Thunderbolts was in general. Personally, I would have gone, if you didn't want to do the Isaiah Bradley story, used the Falcon miniseries from the 80s. That was crazy off the wall. You switch out Electro for any cool mercenary type of character, obviously tied to Captain America, the better. And you had the kidnapping of a US president, and it was just a really fun ride. Even throw in a Sentinel. That would have been really cool. You can build up the arrival of the mutants, that the government are creating these giant robots to hunt down superpowered beings. Even you can throw in Test One, another character tied to Captain America. That would have been great. So I just remembered something else that really bothered me from this flick, and it's everything that revolves around the Celestial Island, where we have Thunderbolt Ross trying to sign this treaty with 4 other countries. Like we have France, India, and Japan. That's it. I feel like there's more countries that have interests in that Celestial Island. So this whole Celestial Island is in the Indian Ocean. I feel like there's more countries that would be involved. Especially, we have a couple of really big players that are not even mentioned in this flick. Especially, they're not mentioning China. And the thing is that you can have this whole treaty as an alliance of countries to deal with other countries, but they didn't go that route. It's a stupid nitpick, but I do have a background in international relations, so that really sort of irked me there.